Automatic reinforcement. The function of some behaviours can be internally satisfying and have nothing to do with anything external to the person. These behaviours give the individual a form of internal satisfaction or sensation. For example, when a person is itchy, it is a natural thing to scratch. The person does not need someone praising them to get enjoyment from the itch, as the scratching is self-satisfying. Sometimes, however, the function can be to remove an internal sensation that is causing them discomfort. For instance, a child might bang their head because they have a headache. Automatic reinforcement is often referred to as self-stimulating behaviour. Automatically reinforced behaviours include hand flapping, lining up objects, licking, rocking, repetitive vocal sounds, saliva holding, smearing, regurgitating food, pica, fingers in ears, mouthing, and self-injurious behaviours such as headbanging or hair pulling. It is important to note that although automatically reinforced behaviours have nothing to do with anything external to the person, they can still be maintained by social attention. An example of this would be when a child smears. The smearing may start out as self-satisfying behaviour. However, when the child is reprimanded, they may enjoy the attention that they receive. This could cause the behaviour to reoccur. The behaviour in this instance can be both self-satisfying and attention-seeking. Intervention automatic reinforcement. The first step in an automatic reinforcement intervention is to block any behaviours that could cause harm, such as headbanging. There could be a medical reason for such behaviours. You can try to replace the inappropriate behaviour with a more appropriate one. For example, a child who continuously puts objects in their mouth could be given a chewy tube to bite on. You can introduce visuals such as quiet mouth or quiet feet and demonstrate the action so they can see more clearly what you are asking them to do. You can also teach the child to ask for access to the replacement behaviour using a communication system such as visuals, sign or speech. It is important to note that when introducing an intervention for behaviours that function as automatic reinforcement, you are competing with a behaviour that is satisfying in itself and easily accessible. It can be difficult to teach the child to come find you and request the replacement behaviour, as it takes much more effort on the part of the child. An alternative to the child asking for the replacement objects is to have the objects easily accessible so they have opportunities to engage in a more appropriate behaviour rather than an inappropriate one. Example case study. Examples and case studies are for illustration and informational purposes only and should not be applied to meet the needs of an individual child. We recommend that you seek professional advice where appropriate. Anna. Anna is a 12-year-old girl with autism. She is non-verbal. She displays a lot of behaviours that her parents can find no obvious reason for. An ABC analysis was carried out over a week to find the function of these behaviours. The following is an example of the findings on one particular day. At 9 o'clock, Anna is playing in her room. There is no obvious antecedent. It is possibly sensory seeking. The behaviour is Anna licks the door handles. There is no obvious consequence. She seems content. The possible function here is automatic reinforcement. At 11 o'clock, Anna is sitting at the table. Again, there is no obvious antecedent. It is possibly sensory seeking. The behaviour is Anna smells all the utensils on the table. There is no obvious consequence. She seems content. The possible function here is automatic reinforcement. At 3 o'clock, Anna is in the garden. There is no obvious antecedent. It is possibly sensory seeking. The behaviour is Anna rocking and spinning. There is no obvious consequence and she seems content. Again, the possible function here is automatic reinforcement. Scenario 1. Provide Anna with a replacement object that has a similar texture, but which would be more acceptable. For example, a large metal spoon that she can lick. Make sure the object is safe for Anna to have. Small objects can be a choking hazard. Teach Anna to ask for the spoon using a picture or sign. Structure Anna's day so that she is engaging in activities at regular intervals. She can then ask for the replacement object following an activity. If Anna engages in the behaviour, show her a quiet mouth card and direct her to ask for the replacement object. Scenario 2. Provide Anna with strong scented objects for her to smell rather than random objects she finds herself. Find the scents she is most likely to seek out. For example, if she likes the smell of flowers, a net bag with dried flowers might be satisfying for her. She could have a variety of scents to choose from. Teach Anna to ask for the scented objects using picture or sign. Structure Anna's day so that she is engaging in activities at regular intervals and is less likely to engage in the undesired behaviour. She can then ask for the scented objects following the activity. If Anna engages in the behaviour, show her a quiet nose card and direct her to ask for the replacement scented object. Scenario 3. Rocking or spinning can be a sign that the child has an underdeveloped vestibular system. As Anna seems to enjoy rocking and spinning, the addition of an outdoor and, if possible, an indoor swing could give her the sensation she is seeking. Other playground activities such as a trampoline, a climbing frame or a balance board could also help to satisfy her needs. Anna can be taught to ask for these activities using visual or sign. If Anna engages in the undesired behaviour, she can be directed to ask for the appropriate activity.